Hello, I'm Noah Nerd. In this tutorial we're going to cover something a little bit different from my other tutorials. Instead of doing web dev, it's going to be more like game dev. So I'm going to be using a very simple engine called CopperCube. It's okay for simple things. It's nothing like Unreal Engine or Unity, but it's quite a cool thing if you just want to mess around and make something to get used to, like level design, making 3D games, basic 3D games. So we're going to be covering how to make a simple maze game where you have to find an object, and I'll cover creating rooms, creating an object to find, maybe 2 or 3 objects, and some lighting, how to create lighting in the game engine, and this sort of thing. So without further ado, let's crack on. So I'm going to assume obviously you've got CopperCube downloaded. We're going to go and create a new app. We want to just create from scratch, new 3D app. When you first see it, you're going to just see a box. Select object. You got the graphic explorer here, so this selects the scene. You can insert the objects there. You can see what's already inserted. So maybe we want to change the skybox at first. I don't know if we'll be using it really, but so you can see the properties of each object you got selected here. So if I go to this, for example, it goes to the cube. Start up skybox, it's got the skybox of course. So we can change this to something else if we so wish. So let's go take that off. Find a texture, something like random, I don't know, this maybe. Like that, load it in, select it. Load that. So you can select the texture you want here on the right and then just do it for each one. Maybe, yeah, so that's that. We don't want this cube mesh here, we don't need it there, so just get rid of it. First thing we're gonna have to really create is a player, so let's do that. So we want to add a camera, and then you've got these predefined options already, which is quite nice. So that's just a free flying camera. We're probably gonna want to just add a first person camera. Collide, yep. That's the first actor camera, yep. Okay. So that's as easy as that really. That's like it's quite easy actually to use this thing. So we can make terrain, but we might cover that later. Let's create a 2D mesh, room mesh from a 2D map. So the way it works in this, and it is super simple, don't get me wrong, it's not like a complicated engine. This it's very simple, but it's quite cool just to get started with something. Anyway, let's create a room mesh from a 2D map. So basically you just have a top-down view here. You can choose different textures for the floors, and then you can just basically sort of like sculpt it from above essentially. You can add your own textures if you want to add your own custom ones, but this is just going to be very simple. So maybe we want our floor to be, or maybe I want my wall to be like that, which already is actually selected as that. Yeah, that one. So you select let's just clear all this because I don't want to do it from scratch. And just select a floor texture I might like. Possibly this, I think, or this is more like a stone. So to start off, you can also set the arches is quite nice ceiling type, and then maybe probably something like not that, it's too bricky, that maybe. So that's just, okay, so let's just create the maze. So we're gonna obviously have the room, so drawing the floor now, and I want to make this maze like, so you have to make some entrances that go nowhere and sort of thing. So I'm just drawing the floor now at the minute, which is it's that simple really. And then this is going to create a mesh once I've done this, which we can use as our starting point for this maze game we're making. Now once again I say this is a very super simple tutorial. I'm not going for anything too complicated here. Just the basics really. it's really nice just for prototyping, I found. I'm going to explore this probably more for just for prototyping ideas and stuff. Not necessarily for making finished games or anything, but just for like a bit of prototyping. It's quite nice. I'll add this floor. You can change the floor as well, of course. You could have variations in the floor. So maybe I want to have this room here as a different floor. So I don't know, something like maybe it's a metal room. Just add a different texture. Okay, then you can switch back to number 4. You can switch to clear anything you've added by mistake. And then I'll add the walls in a minute. So, oh, not that. Floor 2. There we go. Floor 1. This will be a dead end. I'll add a floor there. Wall there, sorry. Not a floor. So I want to create lots of dead ends. There's another dead end here. Maybe make the wall height. I'll make it a bit bigger than normal. 3. Just so it's a bit higher. Just gives it a bit more of a feeling, I guess. Okay, now I'll start adding some walls. So the wall is this one. That's the wall texture I want. Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, 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 ding. Position this. I'm going to obviously have to do the outside walls as well. Can't just have it inside. That would not make any sense. So you have to do the outside as well. Make sure you don't leave any weird gaps where the player can just walk through. Floor 1 again, because I don't want to do that. Floor 1, wall 1. That's okay actually, it doesn't really matter too much about that one. Leaving some space. Okay. Then after this is done, you'll be able to see that we've got a basic room with a sort of maze layout. It's probably not the most advanced maze in the world, but hey ho, it's just an example. Just close that off there. Starts here. Again, we can add different sorts of walls, so maybe somewhere I want to add a cement wall or something, like a sort of, just add some variations, like columns maybe here, just to confuse the player a bit. Actually, it might not look great, but we'll work on that. You can also edit this after the fact, so once I've created this mesh, I can just edit it again. Okay, I'm going to do this for too long, otherwise I'll go on forever. You just also go over it like that. If you've already written a wall, I want to create a different one. It's almost like columns, I guess the idea is there with that. Okay, then I just click OK, and it generates all the mesh of the building for us. Looks like I missed one there, but you can also edit it again. So if I do, it's created the mesh, I want to modify it. Where is it again? Edit 2D room map. I missed a wall. Probably these ones here. Just add the wall there. You can see immediately it just updates the mesh. Okay, and where's the camera? Click on that. So I can see I need to move that. You've got your move tools, scale tools on the top left, which is useful to know. It's quite a high ceiling, which is because I modified the default ceiling. Bada bing, bada bosh. Then if we want to test, we can just go test as Windows application. So to test, just go to test as Windows applications, did before. Okay. And then we can see that collision detection works. I've got the camera. There's no lighting or anything in there yet. I can press space it to jump around. We want to make this full screen as well. So yeah, we've got a basic 3D map. We can explore around, WSAD to move, spacebar to jump. There's no real lighting in there yet. There's nothing of much interest. It's just a bland sort of like bricks. You can change the style of the ceiling as well, but I don't know if we'll go into that. So it's a bit of a maze, you have to walk around. That's that. So let's maybe next look at adding some lighting, I think. Let's escape this. Bear with me. Okay. So that's that. That's added a bit basic map mesh, and we've got to start. So let's calculate the light in here. There's going to be, I've added no light sources, so it's going to be very dark. We can change all the settings here as well. We can add different texture sizes, make it more, make it better. Shadows. Let's just calculate that. You'll see that everything will go very dark because there's no light sources. So let's just add some light sources. Okay, I can turn that off if I want in a second, but let's just create a point light first. And if I calculate again, you should see it'll be the generic light setting. There you go. So there's a bit of light there now, instead of it just being empty. Tico. Sorry, the dog's going crazy. So that's lighting in the basic level. We can also modify the lighting color if we want. Maybe I want it more atmospherically yellow. Shut up, you little horror. So there you go. Changes it yellow. Changes the atmosphere. It's a bit too yellow actually. And you can also change the radius, cast shadows, or check. I want to put this higher as well. I don't think it's a bit too high, a bit too low there. Modify, move it around. You can also scale the thing as well, but it's not so much relevant with lighting. It'd be relevant if you're using a, no, too high. It's stuck in the ceiling somehow. So that's just a case of experimentation. Turn this down a bit, calculate again. Don't want to calculate it every time, we'll just do this to demonstrate. Shut up! Sorry. So just make it sort of like dim, I guess. And if we go in, you can also create some basic geometry. So let's add a cube maybe. Scale it to default. Yeah. We can do some editing on the polygon. So here we go, we can go to editing the actual shape of this thing. So maybe I want to make some unusual shape here. Okay. Move it up here. Create some unusual bit of architecture, I guess. So select the cube. Select the point all here, move it. Can do different types of object then. It's just a boring object in a minute, obviously, because it's not really textured or anything. To move around, I'm holding, using the mouse, the scroll wheel, and right click to move forward fast, and then left click to rotate. Shut up! So let's just do some more editing, I think. Just create an unusual, instead of like just a cube, something like that, I don't know. It's just an example. You can also rotate it on its axis as well. So you want to rotate one of these points. So just mash it up a bit. Yeah, anyway, I'll delete that because that was just an example. All of it. There we go. Okay, so we've covered a bit of lighting. We've covered creating a environment. Not really got anything else. So it comes with a bunch of these predefined prefabs. Not many, to be honest. There's only a few. We've got Goblin, for example. Goblin G. Goblin G might be appropriate for this example. Maze example. So let's just put him in, create an instance of it, right click, and then I want to move him. I want to put him somewhere else. Maybe put him patrolling somewhere. So go. You can flip between the views as well, which can be useful. So it's a bit more useful if you're positioning things like this goblin to position it from the top view, because it's just easier to see where everything is. Like I'm using the scroll wheel to zoom in and out. So I think I'll put him here, I guess. Not there. No. There. No. There. It's a bit awkward actually. Look at the perspective again. So we can see he's in some space here. Move him a bit here. Just use a flip between the cameras really, which is, if you've used any builder, if you've used any game engine before, this is all going to be quite familiar. He's too far up on the y-axis, so I'll just move him down as well. He's too already. I think you can just get him to randomly patrol too. So I'll do that. Add a behavior, and maybe you can change the animation. So go run. This is default. Yep. Okay. Patrol. He's set to randomly patrol. Not all of them have this behavior, but now let's see what happens. Okay, so here I am. See if we can find that goblin. It's a bit dark, but there he is. He's not doing much, but he's there. He needs scaling up a bit actually. He's a bit small. We can get him to follow a path. But I think what we'll do now is make this level look a bit better. It looks a bit meh. It's very dark, murky, and most of it's dark because there's only one light source. Okay, so we want to add more light, I think. Well, let's add a different sort of light. So we add a directional light. Put it somewhere here for now. Let's just see what happens when you calculate that again. Bit more of a gradual, less intense light. You can modify the behaviors as well, so the behaviors, the strength of it, I think, or maybe not actually. It's just sort of distributes it everywhere from what I remember of directional. So we'll have that. We've got that as a baseline anyway now, which is good. I'll make the directional light a different colour, I think, maybe sort of green hue. Just give it a bit of a spooky atmosphere maybe. Calculate again. So we'll have a sort of green hue now. Okay, what if we wanted to add some sound on there? Like, let's add some sound to this thing. Okay, so let's just, I think, create some more. Create a particle system. This is always good. We can create a bit more atmosphere in the level by doing this. So now we're creating a particle of some sort. Okay, red maybe, magic. X, change the X setting, you want to make it a bit wider. It's like a funneling bit of smoke. Put that somewhere around here, I guess, maybe. Maybe want to make it so that we'll look at behaviors next. So maybe if you touch this, it hurts the player. So you can add behaviors via this. So it's got a bunch of predefined behaviors you can add, which you can also do scripts as well if you want. So I'll select current active camera, it's a radius, it enters action associated with that, so we're going to have it hurt the player basically. Well, first I think we'll just do it so it restarts the game, so you basically get it killed. Gaming sounds, we'll have it. Special scripted action. Restart this scene. You have to select the scene. It's this one. And also first I think we want to make it so that it there's a fade, wasn't there? Fade the whole screen and then restart. So move that up. Give it that. Add a fade. Restart the scene. Where was it again? Restart the scene there. This one. And that's sort of like some of the basic fade out, yeah. Actually, okay, actually I need to get rid of that here. Fade out. Restart the scene. This scene, select that. So it's sort of like visual programming. It's very basic, but now if I boot this up, you should see if I move into that smoke, I'm going to get zapped basically. Bear with me a sec. Yeah, I remember. Need to make sure your music file is an OGG. I forgot this. It only accepts OGG files as valid for you. So if I, hopefully if I go into this smoke now, the screen should fade out. It didn't. Why not? Okay. Okay, then I'll select current active camera, yeah, triggers when enters radius, distance, it needs to be more distant, okay. I made a mistake there. I should have made the distance more, maybe like something like, you can see the distance it will actually be, so probably not that, probably more like 20. Probably wasn't triggering because it was too small of a radius, maybe even 30. And you can see the radius that it'll affect actually there, so probably more fine tuning it, 25. And then fade, that should fade out, and then so let's just play it again. Maybe WebGL, you can test it as WebGL as well. I'll not publish. I don't want to publish it now. I want to test it. Okay, test as WebGL, and then it'll boot up in a browser and I can move it around easier actually. Okay, so this is just in WebGL. F11 it. Okay, let's just see if I die when I go to that now. Yeah, see it fades out. So now that action's being triggered, it's in the right place. It has a sort of thing there. I can add some sound to in a second. But yeah, basically that is now. That's one of the nice things about this thing as well. It runs in a web browser like really easily. There are some slight weirdness, so you'll see that particle effects looks odd here, as opposed to when it's in. You can't really jump over it. So see if we can do that. So that's that. That's a triggered event we've done there. Now I'm going to modify this particle system a bit because it looks a bit doesn't look really great. So I'm going to go to the properties, or actually I might make it a different source material. Maybe you want to use just one of their generic ones like this, maybe. That looks sort of weird, but maybe not that. You can add whatever text you want. So, like for example, I can even add a box. Like, it spawns a bunch of boxes, which looks ridiculous, but you can add whatever. Light bulb. This would be quite funny. Funny but ridiculous. So let's just mess around with some of this a bit. So maybe I want to change the scale. Oh, I always forget I'm using the keyboard. 3, 5, 6. And I want to minimum lifetime. Whoa. 500. So I can just basically mess around with all this a bit. Max particles 5. Max particles 12. Oh, that's starting to look really weird. Probably gonna slow it down a lot. Fade out maybe. No, don't want that. But you can basically play around with this a lot, which is quite nice. So maybe it's a bit smaller as well. Start color red. I'm gonna choose the color of it. No. Red, just red. So you see, it gives it. That's quite cool now. So you can create some cool effects that way. Looks a bit too big, so I'm just going to make it bigger, smaller. Sorry. 2 is too much now. 1, yeah, okay. So that looks a bit more sane to me. You can move that a bit. Yeah, have it still from here. Maybe we want to make this thing so it's emitting from like something like maybe a strange sort of like circle, I guess. So again, going back to this, we can create a cylinder, radius of just the standards, and then we can get this. So this is like, looks like it's emitting some like sort of waste from here. That might be quite a cool idea. Then it's not just, we can also scale it up. So scale it needs to be a bit bigger. Now it looks like there's some sort of dangerous thing that we definitely don't want to go near. Venting some sort of waste. So now if I go to, and I'll save this actually before I forget. Save as maze game. Okay, whatever, maze game. Tools, and then test as WebGL again, just because it's going to be faster. Enter full screen. There's a way you can do it on full screen on this, but I just think when you're in test mode it's not. So yeah, we can see that that's that, and if I go in on that, I'm going to fade out and die. So yeah, so we made like a sort of nice little particle thing there. If I go too close to it, I'm going to die, like there, yeah, so we die. Okay, so we're going to want to add some sound effects when that happens, so like a generic sort of sound effect, I guess, like a death sound effect. Also, we're going to want to probably have a sound of some directional sound for to create a 3D sound. This time it's not going to be looping. The music failed last time because I didn't use it as an OG. I completely forgot. I think I can't remember if they've got. They don't really have like predefined sounds, I don't think. So I'll just add my own. I'll have to find some online. So what I use quite frequently is Open Game Art. It's just like Creative Commons artwork on there, which is good. You can just use it for free. Most of this, nearly all the assets are just for free, which is quite good. So I just need to, it's a bit generic, but whatever, we just use whatever. Anyway, back to CopperCube. So we've got some sounds now we can use in the game. So let's just go again to, so I was going to add the fire first, wasn't I? Add that fire sound here. A bit of that, a bit up here. Sound file name, select. Go to my music folder. I've just been lazy and put it in there, but I know pretty much where everything is. It's K theme. Oh, that's the sound. No, not that one. That was the right file. I want to select. What did I call it? File 1. it's 3D, so I want to make it 3D radius 30, maybe a bit less. Just want it to be near when you get near the object. So I'm going to move away into this less loud. It's probably a bit too loud actually. 15. So the closer I get to that, the louder it gets. As you can tell there, it's probably a bit too much still, even maybe even 5. So we've got that 3D sound in there now. So I'll just call that fire, so we've got a good reference for it. A reference point, which is what you would need really. Okay. Now I want to add a sound. If I get killed by that fire, I want it to play a sound. So let's do that. So if I go to here, I've got the behavior on proximity, do something. Fade. I think I need to chain this. Fade the whole. Also, yeah, play a sound. So gaming sound. Play a sound. Sound file name. Select the sound file name, which will be one of these deaf sounds, I think. So if I go, I just need to find one. Oh, there should have been OGs. Yeah, I thought they were OG files. Okay, I'm gonna have to. It's not supported, so let's just quickly do that. It should be an OG file anyway. Open it with Audacity. So we should have a sound here we can add. So we go select. Slight scream, so it just plays the scream sound. Doesn't loop it. I want it to go above as well. Okay, so now when it should fade the scream and then it should fade the screen and then you should hear a scream sound basically. Now I just want to add the music, so if we go insert, again 3D sound, but we're going to make it 2D for the entire map. Attributes, call it music. Not music. Music. Okay, then we want to go play as 2D, and then we want to make the volume, I don't know, maybe 80. Don't want it too loud. Sound file name, cave theme. Bit loud actually. Bit too loud. Bit too loud. Make it quiet. Okay, now let's try boot this up. Try as WebGL. Again, so you should hear music, hopefully. No, why not? Let's do the. Oh, it's weird. It only starts when I restart the scene, so you can see when I go away. You can hear it now, and just die when I do that. We've got like a bit of a random. We've got a tiny goblin who runs around, as you can see there. He needs scaling up a bit actually. He doesn't do anything in the minute, but we've got him in there, which is something. He doesn't move around that much though, it doesn't seem. He needs to be bigger because he's too small in the minute. Okay. So I think probably what we want to do next is we want to define what the end of the game. The end point of the game is to find an exit, I guess. Probably want to make this guy a bit bigger. He's very tiny at the minute. He needs scaling up. So select the goblin, scale him up. Overall, we can scale equally big. So 4, 4, 4. There we go. Too big. 2, 2, 2. That'll be more like it. Also, he's moving down a bit. He's just sort of above the ground still, so just make him be there. And I think from above, it's a bit more lit up now, which is good. It'd be good if, I mean, if you wanted to really enhance something like this, you could just create, have the ending be a portal or something. So let's just create the ending. Put it over here somewhere, and I'll show you how to do that. Just want to create the end room somewhere. Probably a bit hidden away, so it's hard to find. Okay. Maybe you have to find a book, and that's the end of it, and then make it glow or something. Okay, instance, this prefab is huge, but well, it's not huge actually compared to everything else. So you have to look for this book. I'll also show how to add say make it's a green glowing book, it's a magic book. So insert light again. Okay, green. Last one. There we go, that's much more like it. It's more like it natural. Maybe we'll put it up a bit. Actually looks quite good there, so I'll leave it there. Okay, now I want to associate an action with this book. So you kind of get the idea of it. It's pretty simple really. Just add game behaviors. On proximity, probably again 25. Bit less, probably 20. And then we want to make it so it just shows a message. So change to the overlay. I need to add that. Okay. Well done, you found the magic book. I need to add an overlay. So an overlay is just basically a messaging system on the game, and also you can put health and that sort of thing. So change the positioning of it. Maybe I want it at 10. It's a bit too much there. 10 again. No, probably 80. I want it quite taking up quite a lot of the screen. Could do that in absolute pixels, yeah. Color. Let's make it white. Draw text on it. That's when messages will come through. Top left. Maybe center actually. So you can modify all these things here, make this a bit bigger. Looks like we're going to really display one message on it. Look at that. So it's better. Find the magic book. We'll go to display the message. Find the magic book at first. Magics. So that'll display that message. Okay. And you'll make this, I think, put this somewhere here. 5. That'll display there. Okay, so we've got something we can test a bit more now. So let's go to test. Oh, and also I need to modify the book event so that it knows which overlay to go on to. Change which overlay. Select 2D overlay. There we go, and then it'll update that message there. So let's go test the WebGL, la 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 la. Okay, find the magic book. The text is a bit off, but let's just buys a buy. So we've got find the magic book. The guy walks around. He doesn't really do much at the minute. He doesn't attack or anything, but the magic book's down here. And if I go on this, you found the magic book. Now, not really that impressive really, but you die if you go into that. Obviously it needs more of a gameplay element, I suppose, so maybe you want to move. It'd be pretty good to just do like so one of these things moves around as a spirit or something. That would probably make it a game, really. So let's just see about polishing some stuff up. I mean, obviously it's not much of a game, it's just sort of a weird experiment, but things you can do with CopperCube. It's cool for like prototyping in small games, especially cool that you can just quickly write out to HTML5. I mean, obviously this is just like a prototype sort of demonstration game, but you can do a bit with it. It's quite fun. I know it's like almost PlayStation graphics, but the fact that it can run in browser is quite cool. Like if I had more time, I could build this so it had proper enemy sprites that go on a path that you have to avoid. You sort of get an idea. You can show you how to do lighting, or show you how to create a 3D mesh space, indoor space. You can also do a lot of terrain building on that, but which I've not covered. But yeah, I hope that's been useful, and I've been Noah Nerd. If you like, subscribe.